Okay, so it's 11:11, and that seems to happen a lot. We plan it for 11 my time, and and then something happens, and I just go, "Oh, okay, it's connected," and then I look up, and it's 11:11. So I absolutely love that. Even if it took us a few seconds to connect, it just turned 11:12. So we started at 11:11. So welcome everyone. Got my transformational butterflies. We're in a river of butterflies outside. We had a hurricane. We It was not that level. It started as a 4 or 5. You probably heard about it taking out Jamaica pretty bad. By the time it hit us, it was down to a category 2. It was still pretty intense. We put everything away, we rode it out, and we're still cleaning up and getting rid of drainer pool and put stuff and just put all the plants back. And so it's an interesting experience outside the 3D. You do your 3D stuff, and I want to make sure that my beautiful trees and my beautiful land and my kitty cats are protected. They were talking days before. "Bah, bah, 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 bah. Did you know this is happening?" And days, about 2, 3 days before, all these butterflies, just streams of them, all going west, all going west, all going away from the impending storm, and birds. So nature knows they've got it. They've got that connection. And hello everybody, I'm going to wear my glasses because my eyes are doing well and I can see without glasses. However, this one's just 2 weeks out and I have sun right here in my eyes, so it's very helpful to me, and I apologize. I much prefer to be able to see you eye to eye. I like to see eyes. Dragons, all right. Yes, dragons. So we are here. Welcome, Akasha here, Nan Akasha from nanakasha.com. And make sure you subscribe because we're going to be jumping on live. Hopefully, you got a chance to see the show I did with Neil at Portal to Ascension. We live streamed it onto my channel the other night, and that was a lot of fun. We talked about the Knights Templar and dragons and the Holy Grail. So these are all interesting things when you talk about soul lineage. So today I want to talk about soul lineage and I want to do readings, and it's been a long time since we've done readings, my beloved. So I'm super excited. Oh, I'm so glad. Hi guys. There I am with my bags. My mom had this cataract surgery a couple of years ago. She's 90 and she still wears glasses. So I asked her, "Why do you still wear glasses?" And she said, "Oh, there's just glass in those. I just like wearing glasses." But I've only wore glasses for 3 years. She wore them decades. But I've started to realize, like with the glasses on, you just don't notice the big bags under your eyes quite as much. And I can't put any makeup on right now or anything, but my eyes are doing very well. So I want to just thank you guys for all your love and support. And I was supposed to have surgery on my ear on Friday during the hurricane, but of course they canceled that. And that's going to happen in a few weeks. And then a little while after that, we're going to start the Intuition Awakening Summer Camp, and I'm so excited. So we're going to be using a lot of dragon divination, a lot of talking with dragons. So if you really are feeling that dragon energy this year, this is a great place for you to be. The Intuition Awakening Summer Camp is always just blows people. uh, I was just thinking, I was just talking to 2 people this morning who want to come to the Avalon retreat and different aspects of their manifesting process. So if you're interested in manifesting coming to the retreat, definitely reach out and let's set a time to talk because we can play ideas off each other. Uh, However, it's that this is a student who's been with me for 10, 12, holy cow, 13, 14 years. And she started out doing spiritual business coaching with me. And then she did the Light Body School. And she went all the way through all 3 years of the Light Body Healing School and became a certified light weaver. And she uses all of these processes every day. She has performed literal miracles in her life. She was just telling me that her mother went to hospital. She's been visiting her, doing her light work and things with her mother, and how this has like helped heal her. And her mother's kind of looking at her differently. now that she's seen the really tangible results of some of the probiotics and the energy and just the different things that she was helping her with. So what we've been talking about is how we are blasting open. This is a rocket ship now. We're not sort of awakening, maybe thinking things are changing, things are breaking down, things are falling apart, things are shifting, shape shifting, transfiguring very, very quickly. It's not going to slow down. It's going to keep going for at least a few years. And then we're going to see how we are progressing, how we are stepping into it. So when you do your work, oh, hi, Jean-Pierre. And the Order of Melchizedek has come to you for years. I'm a Melchizedek Master, level 5. I'm so glad you liked the Holy Grail talk. It was a lot of fun. We're going to do some more of that. I really like Neil. We really kind of weave together very well. I'm sure we've had some lives together. And so I'm going to be speaking at his conference, then I'm going to be doing my own retreat in Avalon but first, and if you are in a mastermind or if you are coming to the retreat, please let us know, because you get the Intuition Awakening Summer Camp 50% off of the sale price, which is already really deeply discounted. So that's a huge benefit. And one of the reasons is because when you come to the retreat, I would love it, even if you've been working with me for a while, that you had these things we're going to do. We're going to go in and do our very first process. They told me, I don't care what you thought you were going to do. What we're going to do is to erase, to free everyone from these contracts specifically. Okay, so soul contracts can live in you, in your mind, in terms of a belief or a mindset, attachment to a particular culture. They can live in your emotional field, of course, in fear of speaking up, fear of retribution in any form, okay? Because one of the things that happens when you go into your soul lineages, whether it's a DNA lineage from this body or if it's a spiritual DNA, which is what a lot of you were mentioning, oh, I like cosmic, lifetimes with the Pleiades in different places. B says, dragons and fairies and deers and owls and bear energies been visiting with me. And Genevieve is definitely from fairy lineages in some sense. I'm sure that we're connected through our Celtic fae lineages, but that's not the only place that there were fairies or that there are. They're nature spirits at very high level realm. And here in the Mayan land, they call them Alush. Alush. I love that word. So little people, they see them more like about that tall. The Celts are very, very tall and thin. And, it became popular, I think, in the Victorian age to, depict little tiny fairies. But I've seen different kinds of fairies. So I also believe I have a fae lineage now that I understand that they actually were in form. So there's a lot going on, and we're blasting open. And what we have to remember is that because we're blasting open to higher levels of consciousness, or we're blasting open to subtle levels of energy, we are also opening what one shaman that I have studied with said, we've blasted open the doors to heaven and hell. And it depends where your focus is. And that's always been true. Always, always, always been true, right? From the sense that we are always the one that gets to choose what we think, what we focus on, right? So what we want to do is have the opportunity that we're in right now to not be scared, to not wait, but to say, this energy isn't going to be like this ever again. It's never been this way before. And so just because it's unknown, just because my life is falling apart, just because I don't know what to do or where to go or how to get a job or what, if I even want a job, that's the point. So really take advantage of what is happening right now, because it will change. And in a year from now, we'll be like, oh, wasn't that great in the dragon year when there was so much opportunity everywhere, but I kept saying no, I kept saying no. Next year is the serpent year. That's a very different energy. They're very similar, dragons and serpents. In a lot of the stories, they were depicted as one or the other, or they cross they call it a serpent or a dragon. So they're related, but being this is a masculine year and next year is a feminine year, and the snake is extremely ground. It's an earth energy, it's a kundalini energy, and the dragon is a elemental, multi-level elemental. All the elements, flies, swims, breathes fire, right? Can be in any element, and also operates often as we got to stop talking about dragons. So it's okay. We are going to do some shows about dragons. I think that I told Neil he and I should do some shows about dragons. So soul lineages. I hadn't really talked about it in this particular way. So we like to talk about past lives, right? We like to talk about things in categories and see things linearly. Here's the truth: if everything is a spiral, and the goddess and the feminine and the creative and the infinite field and source and what we're made of, right? Because we're made of all of earth and air and little bits and things that are ancient. So our physical body actually has this, and then we bring in the code of our light body, which is emotional, mental, spiritual, and beyond, more different levels. There's the auric field. So within all these places, we carry fears and contracts, and we also carry powers and connections. We carry, if you were like somebody who always just kind of knew, your intuition was like, I don't know, I just know, and I know when I know. Or I had a client once who would get this chill up his back in a very specific way, and when he met me, we were talking, and he got that chill up his back. So he went to his wife and he said, I think that I meant to work with her. So they invited us to lunch, and I didn't know any of this, and we're just chatting away. And we were fairly new living here in Playa del Carmen on the Caribbean, and we were talking, and we had all this great stuff in common. And he was telling me about his spiritual awakening, and he said, I think I meant to work with you, and here's why. So if you've always had your intuitive pathways, and they probably worked really well when you were little, and they probably got shut down a little bit when you were older, and maybe you've been in and out of phases with it. Okay, so Intuition Awakening Summer Camp is designed, and if you join now in the next 4 days, you get the Intuition Awakening Summer Camp 1, which I believe was 2021, and you get the whole thing. Now, if you want to listen to the readings that people do, you can. However, you get the classes and you get the processes. So you could get started right now doing those processes. There's also some other bonuses, I think, there. However, what I really want for you to do is, if you join up now, give yourself like, oh, I'm going to start my class now. Listen to class 1, do the process, okay? And start moving forward with it, because you're going to have an acceleration before we even get together. And when you make a decision to come on a retreat, when you make a decision to join the intuition class, you make a decision to do a soul lineage session with me, whatever it is, the minute you tip over and make that decision, the minute that everything starts to happen. So the work, quote unquote, starts to happen. It doesn't happen at 10 a.m. on August 10th when we get on Zoom. It's already happening, because there's the connection that's happened through space and time. And then you've said, oh, I think that's maybe the answer to what I've been asking for. Okay, I'm going to sign up for that. All right, now. And so that real moment is when you sign up, when you pay your money, when you put your dates on your calendar, when you buy your ticket to go to the event, when you cross over being like, well, maybe not, I don't know, into that decision. And decision making is one of the biggest powers that you hold. You can choose, you can select, and you can make decisions and about what things mean, where you're going to put your focus. So if the whole world is falling apart, do you want to listen to the people who are preaching doom and gloom, who are trying to be more greedy, more manipulative, trying to hack you, trying to steal you, trying to force you, push you, use pushy sales techniques using spiritual language? I see this everywhere right now, just pushing people, pushing people. If you don't do this, you'll lose everything forever. What I do is empower you. All right. So if you come to a retreat or a class or something with me, this is about empowering you to hear more clearly your path, your powers, your intuition, your higher self, your guides, your lineages. So I can tell you without a doubt, I've been doing this work for, I think it's about 38 years now in some form or another. And what happens is that over time, I've seen so many people wake up, and I've seen so many ways that the process unfolds. And people who didn't believe in past lives, including me, were just suddenly in a past life. And then it's an undeniable experience. So then you look at what you were called to as a child. Ancient Greece was a big one for me. I think it was high school, actually. I started getting interested in Egypt a little more. I lived in London. I go to the British Museum always to see the Greek stuff. I went to see the Greek stuff, and then I went to see the paintings and Impressionists and things like that. And I started taking a new route through the British Museum, and it took me right through the Egyptian section, which at the time I was sort of like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And that there's these little ways that these speak to you, that they come to you, right? When I moved here to Mayan land, I didn't expect to stay. I was going to stay for 2 months. I didn't think that I was Mayan or really understood much about them, other than I had been called down here a couple of times in my life back, luckily, when I could actually go up the pyramid, in the pyramid at Chichen Itza, and sit on the jaguar throne, which I now understand is huge. It's not just huge because you can't do it anymore. It's huge because of what that means in terms of me eventually coming here and then doing ceremony and meeting all my Mayan and Aztec friends and being initiated 8 times into jaguar medicine and so on. So you never really know the lineages. Some of them may stay very dormant for a long time, or you may get little clues that come and go, or you may be like, oh, that's interesting, but it's not important to my life right now. I have to go make money doing something else practical, and then I'll do that. So what I'm here to tell you is that your soul lineages are 100% extremely important. And because of this blasting open of the higher realms to let us think and see and communicate more easily, more quickly, more of your 360 senses are opening up. And so if you join the Intuition Awakening class, what happens is you get to keep these processes forever. So we're going to literally just directly not say, well, any contract or any soul thing that's an issue, I want to clear it. It's always going to be to your optimal highest good, which is the way I've already created the light chamber today. So you can relax, get used to being in the infinity healing chamber here, connect to your guides, start to come into the sacred space. And yet you have now opened more pathways in you. So your mind starts to harmonize with different thoughts. You start to realize, I can't be around those people. I can't listen to that show. I can't watch violence anymore. I can't get upset and worry about how I'm going to fix this, and that other person. You need your energy. You need to draw it back in. You need to start to become your own authority. You need to stop letting, well, this happened to me in the past, so when somebody says this, I get all upset. Okay. And me and everybody. Is that really what you're going to let hold you back from what's possible right here in this moment? Because every single moment that we're living right now is vast. I mean, it's enormous. When you start to understand the present moment, you just go, oh, oh. And when you say the present moment is the only thing that exists, well, it does, because our focus is only in this one moment. When we're in our eternal body, when we're in our source body, when we're in our infinite body, we're everywhere at once. Everything is available, but there's no organization, there's no form. It's just everything. The blessing, the honor, the power of coming into a form like we are now, it's not a punishment, although we do reincarnate to complete the things we hate about ourselves, essentially. And so if you look at your life and why'd I do that? And this was a failure, and I married the wrong person, and this was hard, and so on and so forth. Step out of the story, step out of being the victim, and look at, how is this empowering my soul? Why did I choose this? I'm in the right place at the right time. Now what's happening is that over the years, I would do different processes with people, and they would go to a past life, and it would answer all their questions at the time. they would realize that they were killed for their money by their family, so they didn't trust their family, or they were afraid of having money in this life. And they created a whole lifestyle, including who they picked to marry, who was controlling over money, so that they didn't have access to money. Because when they died in that life, they said, I don't ever want money again. Look what it did. Didn't bring me closer to people, didn't really bless me. It made me a victim. It made people I loved and trusted turn against me, and so on. So every life that you've lived within the soul that you are is right now looking at you. And there's a lot of lives that you chose on purpose to bring with you into this moment. And you brought the wounds, you brought the fears, and you brought the soul contracts that said, wow, don't ever be a healer. You'll be burned at the stake. Don't ever be a healer. You'll be called a witch. You'll be called a heretic. Your whole family will suffer for generations and generations, be marked black. They'll kill your family. They'll take your money. They'll outcast you, and you'll die alone in the forest. All these things happened. All these things are very real in our history. And every one of you has had at least one, if not many, many lifetimes with that issue of your talents, your intuitive talents, your psychic abilities, your clairvoyance, your ability to talk to fairies and stones, to make herbal remedies, to heal someone with energy or prayer, to call on Mother Mary, whatever it is, got you hurt, killed, or attacked, or criticized. I had a client the other day that was just talking about the idea of being humiliated, and that they had literally had an experience with someone in their younger life, like high school probably or something like that, where a girlfriend was like hip and cool, but mean and cruel. And like, I want to be hip. I want to be her friend. And then they make fun of you for being a goody two shoes. Oh, you're so good. Oh, you never break the rules. Why don't you break the rules? And so that fear, believe it or not, was actually embedded in her, that I'll get ridiculed and humiliated publicly if I'm a good person, but my nature wants to be good. My nature wants to help people and go out of my, do a little extra in all the different ways I can in my life. And now I have a hesitancy to do that. So we ended up doing an incredible session where this particular person in her life, they'd been in many lives together, and they'd been playing that role for each other to hold each other back from their intuitive powers, because she took the intuition class a couple of years ago and then took the certification class. And she keeps saying, I don't know where my life would be if I hadn't started to work with you. 3 years and everything is different. How I see myself, what I do. Does it mean that, I'm a millionaire now? No, but how I live, what I think, what I believe, that I trust people. She's now been a couple of years into a group of women, which is a huge healing based on her past. But you may have these contracts or vows with other people that are in your life right now that are trying to reinforce, don't you dare be spiritual. Don't you dare be psychic. Who do you think you are? What do you mean you talked to my grandmother in the bedroom last night? I had one client like that. She was like taking my course, and she said, okay, so my husband's grandmother showed up in the room last night, started talking to me, but I wasn't really sure it was her because I never met her in person. So I went in and I said to my husband, did your grandmother wear this perfume and have a purse that looked like this and have a violet dress and look this way? And he just looked at her like, yeah. And she's like, well, I just don't know what to say, but she came in the bedroom last night and gave me a message for you. So everybody's intuition wakes up in a different way. And I can tell you unequivocally is that whatever contracts that you have had in any life that was stay small, don't let anyone see you, be careful of being betrayed, hurt, stolen from, killed, burned, accused, they're there. They're very powerful. And even if you found some of them, there's probably still some there that are really in a main component of why you aren't stepping into what is opening for you right now, or you're not aware of it. So this is a quantum leap that you can make all in the month of August, and then dive into the rest of the dragon here with these heightened intuitive. So we do exercises to heighten your intuitive pathways. We're going to do this vow contract specifically around holding back your psychic powers, your intuitive gifts. That includes your soul lineages where you were a healer or you were a priestess or a seer or an oracle or something that you either got hurt for or you currently perceive would be dangerous to become. So take a look, go over to the shop, and you'll see all of the goodies there. It should link you to a, okay, there we go. Let's try to do it. That there is a bigger page for the intuition class. If you want to go to it, there'll be a link right there, but you can find all of those goodies in the shop. So what we're going to do now is tune into some more concepts around the soul lineage and start to do readings with you lovely beings. So let me just see who else has joined us. I want to start from the very top. Sylvia. Oh, it's so fun. I'm so glad. It's been a while since I've seen your beautiful being. Hi, Marnie and Erica. Yay. Hi, Erica. I think Erica just joined the intuition class. Thank you. Maureen, she's going to be there in our intuition class. Hi, Shelly. And let's see, Erica, Egypt. I know I'm totally all up into Egypt. So if you just came on, please share in the chat what lineages there, traditions or wisdom schools or mystery schools or things that you've been drawn to. So I've mentioned recently a few times that there's a time in my life when I started to be drawn to goddess work. And every time I would pick up a book about it, I would get this really kind of sick feeling in my stomach. And I would start to feel like, oh my gosh, there's something wrong with this. There's something bad with this. And I don't feel good. And I felt so drawn. And there was not a lot available back then. However, there was this desire that was definitely cut off by my fear. And my fear was intangible. I couldn't put words to it. There was no internet. There was no one talking about this back then. So there's a lot of that available. So let us know what you've had waking up, what you feel called to, what you followed through on, what you haven't followed through on, what you feel called to. And one of the things that happens is that I just kept going back, right? It just keeps coming back at some point. And finally, I joined the Reformed Congregation of the Goddess. And I was very active for 16 years. I was trained as a priestess and a ritual. I loved ritual, so I didn't even know what that meant. So I got on the ritual planning committee. And I had studied with some Lakota Sioux as a shaman and Maya, and Egypt. And I was very attuned to earth. I liked earth-based medicine, earth-based cultures. I was a medicine healer. I was an energy healer. I was a flower essence healer. As a homeopath, I liked that respect that a lot of the indigenous cultures have to the earth, and believing that everything is alive. In ancient Greece, this tree has a spirit in it, and this is a god, and this is a goddess, and this is, so all of those things were very natural to me. And the goddess world, so to speak, whether it's Wicca or whatever, is very much the same. It's very loving, very beautiful. It's all about connecting with nature, following the seasons, understanding cycles, and going deep, not avoiding the parts of yourself that are in the shadow, not seeing the shadow as bad, understanding that there is a cycle to life, right? So go ahead and share with us here what else you have that's come up. Hi, Olga. And let's see what else we got here. Yeah, though. Called to the Essenes, yes. Well, the Essenes, they did go to Egypt, didn't they? The Essenes and the Gnostics are very interesting because they maintained a connection to the truth of the underlying impetus for that religion, which was love. They maintained that direct connection to source, to earth, to the goddess, to the feminine. And so it's really fun to reconnect to those lineages that you have. And if you bring wounds forward, if you bring fears forward, and you do on purpose, you spend a good amount of whatever you want to call it, time in the timeless realm, planning this life, planning your soul blueprint. and then it's embedded within you. It's in your cells, it's in your DNA, it's in certain aspects, certain chakras, and you have access to it. But if you are blocked with the fear and you've told yourself never ever do that again, then your soul, your higher self, your spirit guides, they might be trying to direct you that way, trying to send you a message, trying to say, hey, go to Egypt, go to Avalon, this is going to wake everything up for you. I know that the people who come on my retreats have a huge awakening. And this one that we're doing in Glastonbury and Avalon is, medieval, and it's also Neolithic. The ancient stones, the ancient energies in the earth, the sacred waters, all the goddess, the sacred feminine that's there. But you also have the Holy Grail, and you have the ETs, you have the time portals that open to other realms that are stargates. So we're going to be working on so many multiple levels, doing deep alchemy processes that you're going to wake up to a new you, whether it's Celtic you, like I've actually started to respect my Celtic DNA, or whether you have something that it doesn't have to be there. It could be that those key codes, those experiences, those learning, the wisdom that you remember, everything you're remembering, because everything exists at once. So your soul, everything exists at once. When we connect to other lineages, you already have a bridge to them. So you don't have to work really hard or wonder if you're getting it right. What you have to do is let go of expectation of things being in a certain way. So one of the things that is really good to do is to listen and to follow through, because you can research, right? You can just go, well, that's interesting. Who are the Tuatha De Danann? And go start looking that up. And you can cruise through a million websites and discern which ones have the right information for you, and start to realize, oh, there's this supernatural, or that's what they said, called them gods or goddesses. And all that means is that beings that can exist multidimensionally in a conscious way and move between dimensions, use energy, alchemize gold or different energies to create health, to create the ability to fly, to do open portals between dimensions. All of these things are there and they're possible. We're going to have so much of the ancient energy here that calls people to their hearts, and we're starting with a chakra activation the first day, as we're learning the Tao's and the ley lines in the earth are going to activate the ley lines within us. And that clears another channel or pathway to your higher good. So you may come and realize, oh, I'm meant to go to an Egyptian mystery school, right? Or something like that. So Sarah, hello. And we've got Genevieve, and we've got, I think it's the same Erica. And let's see, what else have we got here? Kier, wow. Hello, Kier. Glad to see. Oh, thank you so much. There's another one of my intuition students, and Genevieve too. Arcturian energy has been coming through. Very interesting. Dragons and fairies and owl energy, of course. Yes, well, Arcturian energy, if you feel drawn to a particular star or planet. Right now, we had the Sirius Gateway, which was really beautiful. I love the Syrians. Being an Isis girl, there's a lot of lineage and a lot of connection through the Egyptians' mystery schools to the Syrians. Hi, Susan. Woo! So many energies around me these days. Oh, wonderful. Susan's coming to Avalon. Yay. And hi, Kim. And Autumn. Oh, how wonderful. I love jaguars too. Hi, Cheryl. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Cheryl and I were talking this morning. She's totally getting it. Spirit Messenger. Jennifer, hi from Byron Bay. I've been obsessed with Egypt since I was a kid. I know it's a very powerful one. And when you go, woo, the energy really knocks you out. Oh, Jennifer says Machu Picchu, Egypt, Mayan, and the stars. Very nice. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is there's a lot of them. When I started to list them recently for some promotions that we were doing there, and they kept asking more questions. Well, what else? I don't really talk a lot about what I do or what I have done. So when I finally did go into the goddess world, I raised my children that way. I raised them 100% every day, every way, singing to them goddess songs and going to the festival of the goddess, and doing art, and being connected to the seasons, and talking to the fairies and making fairy houses. And it can really be something that you integrate into your life, any of these lineages, which it is. Black Moon Lilith has been coming in strong alongside ancestral lineage pertaining to healing the priestess and witch wounds. Wow. Now there's a mouthful, right there. And we've got to do one just around that. The priestess, the witch wounds, the healer, the wise woman, the medicine woman, women in general, the sacred feminine in general, just constant, repression and humiliation and reputation type of thing, that people still use that. Like, it's so mind blowing me today. Somebody said, "What are you, a witch?" And someone would be like, where'd that come from? And the answer is yes, witches aren't bad. Now, that's not a Satanist. You have to understand that there's people who do take energy for healing and for harming. And so people who want to use energies and understanding of natural laws and communication with the natural realm to do things to people that aren't aligned with their will, that's outside of the agreements within a school that you have been wisely raised in and trained in. And it's the reason we were separated from these wisdoms for so long ago. So, and if anyone doesn't know who Lilith is, she was the first wife of Adam, or woman, original woman, in the Garden of Eden. And she said, yeah, no, I don't want to be anybody's partner. I'm an independent woman. And she really represents that idea of the outcast woman right from the beginning, because she didn't want to behave. She wanted to be independent and free. And we do all have that idea. And the priestess is such a powerful archetype, because it's taking wisdom and power and commitment to a path that you will go through that criticism, let's just use for an example, and not let it stop you, because you've made that inner commitment. And I think that's what we're all coming back to, is remembering that inner commitment to these lineages and inner commitment to our soul wisdom. Divine Feminine, the Sophia Code, and angels, whales, and dolphins. I'm a big dolphin girl, a big animal girl, big jaguar medicine girl. And I started my spiritual path with animals. I started, everything broke down. I didn't know what to do. Started to read about channeling dolphins from another planet. Started to learn meditation, moved to New Mexico, and became very connected to, interestingly, dolphins there. But I started a pet sitting business, which then led me to animal healers, animal communicators, and other forms of healing. So it was really the door, and they were my healers. They were my healers. I was very wounded, very believing that I was a failure, very much believing that people were really cruel, really evil. I didn't trust people whatsoever. And the animals took me and brought the energy back to me and showed me a new path to take. So yeah, all of these things could be, you could have a lineage of working with animals. I asked a channel once, why do I feel so passionate about animals? He said, well, because you were really cruel to them in another life. And I was like, it was so dramatic to hear that. No, I'm a good person. I like, so we've played all those roles. And I've had someone at a client at wow, I think it was one of the wasn't the first retreat I did, but it was the first retreat I did that was pure spirit. And it was around, it was at the Lionsgate, and it was in California. And it was basically, we went through the chakras up through the temples of the Nile. And of course we were in California, but that was the activation over the 3 or 4 days. And I had Thoth back here is from Egypt, and so I've got Osiris and Isis, and there's Bast, and I have a Sphinx, and that I had brought from there. And she came out of one of the activations and went, I didn't know this was about Egypt. And everybody looked at her like, but there was all over. There was like Egypt. We're going to do these activations with the Egyptian temples and she's like, wow, my spirit did not let me see that. I hate Egypt. I'm scared of Egypt. I get horrible feelings when I think about Egypt. And I just had, so she went to a life in Egypt where she was a priest and she really believed in what she did. And it was unfortunately at an age where things were shifting. And she realized before she died that a lot of what she was told and told to do was not actually for the greater good. It was really manipulative of the people, and it was using the spiritual wisdom, not in the fully proper way. And as we see a lot of leaders become. And she wasn't a leader, but she was in that higher order of initiates. And she died feeling completely betrayed and completely guilty and thinking just everything to do with ancient Egypt, all the magic, all the wisdom was bad, was horrible. And she was one of the most psychic people I have ever met in my life. And I've talked about how she gave me warnings about stuff or told me who I would meet and all kinds of things, if you've heard me ever talk about that. So she came back from that and just went, oh my God, I wouldn't be here. Well, isn't it interesting when you say, why did I fall asleep during that meditation? Maybe that's the most optimal way for you to experience what happened, what downloaded, what was released, what was received, because you didn't get in the way, right, with your conscious mind. So spirit somehow managed to just like, oh, I want to come. And she didn't even know what it was about. So I took the Sphinx and I said, well, this is from Egypt. And I pushed it towards her on the floor. And she just was full of terror. And it took all day that day for me to get it closer to her. And I told her, I want you to touch it. I want you to hold it. And by the time that the retreat ended, she didn't want to leave it. She was holding it 24/7. She was taking it home to sleep with it. She took it to our beach activation. She took it to the meditation gardens when we did that. And it was an opening to a new level of her powers, but it was hiding behind a deep fear and a deep contract, that she had made in that other life. Yeah. Oh, good. Mer people. Oh, yes, Lemuria. Mer people. I've had some really interesting experiences with the mermaids and the mer people. I'm such a mermaid. It's ridiculous. But I was with my ex-husband once on an island in the West Indies, and he had a special crystal necklace that I had bought him. And we were playing in the waves, and we just suddenly this energy came and no one else got hit with it. So we know it wasn't a wave. And we were both like knocked down and dragged under and tumbled around. And by the time we came back up, his necklace was gone. And we were both like, whoa, what happened? Completely disoriented. We got out, we looked around, everybody else was just sitting there like normal. And later on, I kept saying, well, someone else needed it more than you. That was all I could get at the time. And then I went to my channel and they said, oh, well, that was a mermaid. That was mer people. They needed that necklace and they're really grateful you brought it. But they had to kind of like, tumble you around a little bit to get it off and stuff. So very interesting. Did you read my mind? Yeah. Oh, Enza, hi, beautiful. I wonder where I have a connection to a lineage. Oh, ascended masters. Well, and that's an interesting conversation, right? An ascended master is somebody like you and me who remembers, who goes through the awakening process and then does the becoming work, which is what we're being offered now. We're still awakening, but really important to start thinking of becoming. You don't have to wait. You need to be much more embodied with this work. You need to stop waiting, stop wondering, stop thinking that, one day this will come to you. You need to start being like, okay, I'm ready, and talking and meditating and creating and interacting and whatever is coming to you, whatever way. All right, time for my eyes to have a break. So, but yeah, Enza came on our retreat recently, and her two incredible sons I did readings for beforehand. And wow, her one son especially, I was taking a break between the two readings and I walked across the room over here to look around to see if there were different crystals that wanted to be near me when I did the second reading. I clear my energy, a disconnect from that person. I create a clear connection for their highest good. And I was walking back and I was parallel to my bookshelf that has all mostly oracle cards on it. And I saw this very tall man shaman, very clearly an ancient shaman standing there. And I was like, oh, hello. And it was her son. And I reached over and threw the being and picked up the shaman something oracle. And yes, then I got to meet the beautiful, beautiful beings. So what else have we got here, Shelley? I honestly don't know what I need to hear from you. Andromeda, Sirius, Mintaka, very interesting. Sometimes I do readings with people. I don't know what we call them, zodiac readings or something, and to see starseed, I think we call, and to see like what are your other planets, and we get a lot of Regulus, and we get a lot of Antara, and the royal gates. Oh my goodness. Well, that just came out. What happens is as I'm doing this work, as it builds, this happens often very close to the end of a session. So give me 1 second. And dragons, more dragons. A priestess of Avalon, yeah. Celtic and face bases, Stardust Arcturians, yes. Genevieve, Lilith. Lilith was really powerful for me, and Kali during my divorce. Hi, Monica. Lenore, Olga Kier, bless you. Thank you. I so apologize. I did not expect that. I felt it and then I thought it was leaving. So I'm going to ask for 1 moment. And what I'm going to do is get a little tissue and see if I can let go of anything else that wants to come up. So what happens for me is one of those things you want to pay attention to is it starts to fizz inside. Okay, here at the very back of my nose, and then fizzes up right into my third eye, and it starts to do this, and it's almost like tickling the nose, and I almost always have to mute myself on a session with somebody so I don't sneeze into their ear as they're in a very divine space, right? So I think I do need to blow that out. So I'm going to ask for 1 moment while I'm going to give you something beautiful to look at. So speaking about Mayan, so here's one of my most favorite Mayan places, which we're going to be going to next March. We're going to do a lot of pyramids next March. We're going to be doing a lot of jaguar medicine next March, and a rebirthing. So here in Mayan land, and this is called Uxmal, and that is the Temple of the Moon, also called the Temple of the Seer or the Magician. And so today we're doing live reading, soul lineage powers, and this is a graphic we made a month or 2 ago. And I worked with my assistant and my beautiful Chris, and thank you, Chris, for this to create these different soul lineage images. So obviously this is Egypt. We have Mayan, we have Celtic, and I want to do some more. So I want to remind you that there's a free masterclass. And if you want it, you can go to this link here, and it's below to make it easier for you if you can't write this down. And there's 3 classes and a meditation with Merlin. Okay. This is the Intuition Divination Summer Camp. And this is the link, but if you go to the shop, you will find that. And this is the Mysteries of Avalon Sacred Feminine Magic Retreat. And we're going to do dragon work. We're going to do, oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing. So also right now I'm offering soul lineage sessions, private sessions. You just go to the shop for that. So I think I'm going to, this picture looks really lovely. Let me, I got to get, all right, I'm just seeing here if I can show you another really beautiful image. So I'm just grabbing my oracle cards and I'm going to open them here and give you, let me see what we're drawn to here. Interesting. What I really feel like is Here we go. Oh my gosh, I can feel some of you. I can really feel something moving again in my head. Here we go. This might be better. La 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 la. Yes, this is what I want. All right, let me move this over. Okay, so I'm going to give you this beautiful image to take a look at, and while I take one quick moment here, and I am not entirely sure if I change my screen. Oh, no, you're not seeing it, so I have to stop, and then I have to start. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, that's fine. All right, so one of the things about the oracle cards, which we're going to share a lot more about soon, is the idea that there's these archetypes of sacred feminine energy that have been suppressed, as we've been talking about. So we'll just go through here and take a peek at, there's our dragon. There's our little Celtic dragon. I can tell you, boy, England, that's a place of dragons. And let me just see if I can find, here we are, all of us together. I just so appreciate Chris and his beautiful artwork he's made for me. That's me, my fairy godmother. These are all fairy godmothers. Okay, so I have one in particular I was hoping to find, but I don't see it. Ooh, here we go. That might be really lovely. Oh, there, here we go. So I have ones, this is where a place we're going for the equinox here in Mayan land. Whoa, that's worth coming 1,000 times over. That's a top life experience. And so, well, obviously this is a Mayan pyramid, but I feel more people were talking about Egypt. So I'm going to give you this one to tune into. Being an animal intuitive, yes, absolutely. It was the first thing I did. And the Green Wizard, I know that's a wise Merlin, or Merlin, our archetype for Merlin. So go ahead, even if you don't particularly feel Egypt, go ahead and tune into this while I take a moment. And then I'm going to come back and see who I feel called to, who's speaking, and we'll do as many of these readings as possible. But remember, whatever comes through is probably for you too, right? All right, one moment. Okay, I'm almost Ready? Just making sure I'm not going to sneeze again. And all right, when you feel ready, I want you to close your eyes and just start breathing very coherently. You know that what that means, very four or whatever your nice count is, four in, four wait, four out, or just be in that where you relax deeper into the space. All right. All right, my beautiful ones. So while I was cleansing and purging and clearing, tuning into all of you beautiful beings, the first person that popped out to me was Autumn, Autumn, Autumn. So everybody, we are in a sacred circle, and I want to go ahead and come back here and connect from our hearts. So I have the citrine. This is a very important being for clarity and holding your frequency so that you are a clear and open channel. I have this gives me splinters, my blue kyanite, which is an excellent communicator. Okay, I've got my other things here. Of course, I have my black stone for protection. I got Ganesha, and I've got my favorite wand in the moment right now. So I want you to, if you don't have with you wherever you are, to call on those energies to bring you into this sacred space. And we give great thanks to be in this sacred temple together. We honor the infinity healing chamber, the gold and silver light above and below. We accept and honor that we are wrapped in the all-seeing eye and are given free, clear, beautiful access to all that is, all that was, and all that could be, as is optimal for each of us at this time, aligned to our highest goods. Now we enter the sacred space and we hold space together as sisters and brothers of light. And we enter the sacred space calling on our soul lineages, calling on our blueprints, calling on those parts of us within our light body that hold the codes, the wisdom, the memories, the powers. Ah, yes, yes. We call on Atlantis and we call on Thoth and we call on all of the ancients. We call the mer people and the animal spirit guides. We call to Morgan Le Fay. We call to you to bring not just the fates and the fairies, but to bring your wisdom as the priestess of Avalon, as the one that was cast as both goddess and sorceress, evil and good, embodying all of it, living through time. We ask you to guide us, to help us to remember, to love ourselves, to love our past, present, future, to love the infinite self and the spiral that we are within here in this sacred space. We all free ourselves now from old soul agreements, fears, contracts, and beliefs that clog our intuitive pathways and that keep us separate from our truth and from the guidance, powers, and wisdom that are ready to co-create, to support, and to be supported. So the Infinity Healing Chamber changes for everyone uniquely into a place. You might go through time to a star, you might go to a garden, you might be outside, you might be inside, you might be in a cavern, you might be in a temple, you might be somewhere else, and you just want to be present to where you're being taken. So we're here as a group to take the soul lineage journey, and as a group together, we're each being connected to a primary soul lineage. Could be your body's DNA. Mine is telling me that right now. And you might notice where you're feeling perhaps pain or some sort of interesting energy in your body. That particular gland, that particular portal or chakra is important to that lineage, to that power, to that wisdom. So you are here now because you were called. You believe there are other reasons to why you are here, and yet you were called here. And because you came, you will be greatly, greatly rewarded. I am Mat, and I am the ancient Egyptian goddess of the scales. I weigh your heart against a feather, the feather of truth. How do you expect to travel through time? How do you expect to win the trust of your lives, of your body, of all the riches and wealth and support that are waiting for you if you do not trust yourself enough to listen? Do you fear your own heart, or do you clear it every day? Do you keep it clean and pay attention to what it needs? Do you nourish it, nurture it? If it is broken, do you keep it broken? Or are you bringing it to a new level of wholeness? Or are you using it as a door to walk through? Did you know that your broken heart is a good thing? It means that what held your heart within a certain reality, a cage, perhaps you might feel it as a prison, very much like the feather, the bird inside of a cage. It can fly high. It loves the treetops. It loves to feel the sun, to watch the moon, even the rain. But it's in a cage. It's not in a dungeon anymore. It is in a cage. It's in a sunny room. It's fed nice food and given fresh water. I don't care. You can't keep my soul caged any longer, because your soul is my soul. Everyone is here. We are a piece of the whole. If you choose to continue to play in your cage instead of walking right out the door, soaring right through the bars, you created them in the first place. Clear your heart every day so that when you come to meet me, and you will meet me sooner than you think, don't worry, I'm not saying you have to die. Let go of death. You're eternal. You've been here so many times, and that's why you've been called today. Because today it's vital that you remember, that you know, that you sense, that you feel, that you walk, that you talk, that you select, that you choose. Do you select what you listen to, who you're with, where you go, how much time you spend alone with yourself, listening in nature? Do you wish for something that you never take a step towards? Do you use it as a key to lock your cage over and over? Do you realize you simply need to say yes? And the darkness will drain away, because the great goddess is here. She always has been. She always will be. She is within your body. That means you are the creator and you have the ability to uncreate. Today I give you a gift. I give you a feather. For each of you, it is a different feather. So you may be receiving it now. What hand are you receiving it in? Or are you watching it in front of you? Or did it download into you? Or did it appear in your heart? Where are you receiving the gift of the feather of truth? Because this will give you a pass to your soul lineages for one day, today. As you receive this, do you understand what it means? It's so much more. You're busy questioning, am I really seeing it? Or why am I not seeing? Or what am I seeing? Or what does it mean? Or when will this be over? Or how can I pay my bills? Or some other thing. If you are at all not in the moment, you are not getting to reap the joy, the pleasure, the rewards, the depth, the richness that is here in this gifting moment. You receive this feather. It is a feather of truth. One of you received a fuchsia feather, all pink, tiny, fluffy, very bright pink. One of you received a long, beautiful feather with yellow and white and brown and spots. Long and tall, thin and soft, seen, known and unknown. What is your feather of truth look like, feel like? And what is the message? What is the medicine that it brings to you today? Now, the reason that I have come is because I am one of those sisters that has traveled with you for many, many lives. So not only if you are here, whenever you might be here listening, did you have at least one life in your soul that is in Egypt, ancient Egypt. There is a long time period. Many of you were there in many times in different roles. Many of you were there as wisdom keepers, as priests, as healers, as priestesses. Many of you were there as consorts to gods and goddesses, meaning you ushered in, you opened the stargates, you understood the languages, you were the pillar or the channel or the oracle or the seer, the advisor, the healer, the one who understood earth and sky, the one who spoke to the gods and to the animals, the one who understood the cycles and when the energies would amplify within the great pyramids and when to rest and float and wait. All of these gifts are yours because at least one of those lives you passed my scales. This is a ceremony called the weighing of the heart. And when I weigh your heart against a feather, all the pain, all the fear, all the angst, all the shame, all the humiliation, anger, the craving, the disappointment, the rejection, everything that you hold on to is not anything anyone else did. It is your choice to hold it in your heart. Let it become revenge. Let it become bars. Let it become limits. Let it hold you back and hold you down. And you've done this for lifetime after lifetime. So I've come to help Akasha because it is now that this must happen. I can no longer wait for you. I can no longer wait to be with you again. I've come to open the doors. Whatever life you are gifted today is the right one. Don't question it. Receive it. Understand it. It is coming to you now. It is downloading now. It is coming in through your light body. It is coming through your Akashic Ascension sphere. It is coming through the networks in each of the plexuses in your chakras, and it's going to continue to download in many, many ways. You may not know what it is. You may know exactly what it is. It's going to unfold within you, but it's going to be like having a new GPS system downloaded within you. And now, when you are out, when you are doing something, when you are on your path, when you are faced with a challenge, a choice, a selection, you will stop, remember, and allow this part of you in whatever way it wants to speak. It may not be obvious, you may not know. This is not the point. Don't judge yourself. Don't block yourself. Don't hold yourself back anymore, because all of the things that darken your heart, that make it wounded or tender or too weak or too sad or too untrusted or too unworthy, has kept you from nourishing it, bringing it to the light, opening it, seeing the treasures within it, going deeper within it. You are afraid of your own heart. And well, you've seen a lot, so there's a reason for that too, isn't there? Yes, you have seen it. You have seen it all. And yet what you have now is such an opportunity. This is the diamond of all diamonds. This is the moment of all opportunities, which is why we will continue to appear. Your soul is knocking. Your other lives don't just want your help being freed from their wound, from their pain, from their past. They want to work together with you. They want to co-create. And they want to do it with very specific powers that you have. Thank you, Mud. Thank you, Mud. Thank you, Mud. Thank you, Mud. Now there is a golden goddess, and autumn has stepped into the center of our temple. We all give our attention to that which is for our highest good to come through as a clear channel, without trying to block it, figure it out, or question it. Simply receive, digest, and let it go deeper. Savor. Autumn. You are a gold goddess. You are moving gold energy that looks so real that there is a space around you, but mostly above your body. You have very golden hair. You have a gold band around your head. It comes to a point right in the center, right over your third eye. It's just gold, and it comes right down and goes into a chevron shape. There's two small bars on either side. There's no jewels that I see. Everything is gold. You are radiating gold, and there is gold. And then you have many, many gold rings, all kinds of, and you're holding your hand above your head, and you're holding, sometimes it's light. It's kind of a wand made of light. Sometimes it looks like wire, copper, gold wire, but it changes shapes. So you're holding your intention, you're holding your wand, and you're turning it in a spiral, and it is taking your 8th chakra, your soul star, and it is stirring up the energies. It is knocking on the door, and you are doing it in a way that you are giving. You are saying, I've risen up here. I'm ready to open the doors. I want to communicate with my higher self, heart to heart, eye to eye. This is where I am. And I'm ready to bring my gold, my life force. I'm ready to bring it up. And you continue to create that vortex, and you're looking straight ahead. You're very focused. You're tall, tall, tall and blonde, very Nordic, very, very Celtic, but it's different. It's more like almost like Iceland or something, where it's gold blonde, though, not white blonde. And there's richness in it. And the gold ray, the sun, you are sun. You worship the sun. You are in a culture that worships the sun, and the sun being not just the power of life and bringing the fruits and the vegetables and the seasons and the warmth, but understanding the sun being a being that is taught you, that you have sat with, that you've raised your frequency to become stronger and stronger so that you can hold the high frequencies, the power, what we might call heat of the sun, the eruptions and the flares and the energy that's measured off of the sun, our earth sun, has increased dramatically, and it isn't going to hurt anyone if we answer that call. And you are an expert at this. One of the things you're meant to do is to raise the sun within you. Spiral, 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 spiral. You're so in the spiral, comes right to the belly, right to the center of your solar plexus, and then fans out up and down the way that those timekeeping things that look like an hourglass. An hourglass comes down into the solar plexus and it disappears into the solar plexus. So this is a center where you must go back to, you must go deep. It is blazingly hot. There's a lot of power. You've used your power. You've misused your power. You've misunderstood your power. You've been an apprentice to the power. And this vision is a vision of you, not as the apprentice, not misusing, not being overwhelmed by it, but standing in absolute clarity, certainty, eyes forward, becoming a chalice, becoming a vessel from above to below. That sun is whipping around within you. And it is not just opening this, but you have a 12th chakra that is the great central sun chakra. And you have your solar plexus, and you have your sun, and you have your great central sun and your great central sun chakra. And these four square, they create the cube. And the cube is part of you becoming whole. You becoming, when you square the circle, you open the mysteries of the truth. You bring the masculine and the feminine together. So even though the silver goddess ray is the 10th ray and the gold god ray is the 12th ray, the 12th ray contains every other ray within it. These are ascended masters. Therefore, the sacred feminine, therefore the blue ray of protection and the ascended masters. Therefore, the violet flame, the 7th ray of the violet light of fire, the transmutational karmic ray that transmutes completely and reconnects to purpose. The luminous green violet ray, 8, is inside the gold ray. It is a cleansing and a renewal and luminous, incredible. There's red and orange and even a sherbety peach pink that is 11. This is the angelic ray. This is the fairy ray. This is those that live between the worlds. You hold all of these within you, but you know that you don't need to know this and that. You need to be the clear channel. You hold the chalice. You keep spiraling the energies above you and down around you. The doors have opened now. The coil goes higher. The coil now is joined by other golds, other elemental copper and platinum, and something I've never really seen before. It's flowing blue liquid, but also looks like some kind of metal. There's a lot of alchemy going on. You are mastering the process of alchemy is to digest. So if you do not digest your pain, you do not digest the past, you do not digest who you are and what you're meant to be, you do not digest this is the end of that relationship, this is time for me to move on. If you do not digest it, you are constantly keeping it outside of you. This is you accepting it all. When you digest it, everything within you already knows how to take that pain or that fear or that desire or that readiness and transmute it, alchemize it completely. And when that happens, it becomes distilled. And the distillation process is when you go and say, yes, now I am here and I am going to be a clear and open channel. It doesn't matter what toxins, it doesn't matter what's been done to me. It doesn't matter what I haven't understood. It doesn't matter that I know where I'm going. I know that this is my lineage. This is my soul promise. And the sun god, I keep seeing Lugh. This is a Celtic sun god, and I keep seeing this sun, but different, like very artistic renderings of the sun and the spiral inside the sun. And the Celtic spirals, I'm seeing a lot of those on the stones, but then the sun. And the sun now is your source. And you've opened that, you've created a vortex, and now you simply receive. And the process that you know that you are getting ready to remember is to do this, to alchemize anything that keeps you from receiving 100% gold ray energies. Look at the rays of creation in the shop. It's free. Look and think about every single ray, and think about surrendering everything. Because when you decide to take this energy on, every single culture honored the sun. They had a sun god or a sun goddess. They built temples of the sun. They built temples of the moon. But we're talking about the sun. The sun god was usually the supreme god or goddess. This was the supreme prime energy. Why? Why was it embodied as a serpent, or as a god, as Apollo, or there's another one actually too, as Sol and Lu, or as all the different entities, a sunflower, right? The idea of sun in your solar plexus. The idea of it being power that you generate, the idea that it's full of nourishment. So you're no different than a plant. You don't connect to the sun to get burnt. You get connected to the sun because you receive that ray, and then you digest it. And you pull out the exact frequencies that are optimal to nourish you. And then you let go of the rest. And this is where you have forgotten. Remember how to let go of that which you digest. You bring in the pain, you digest it. You let go of the part that's the shell, that's the excess, that's the peel. You just thank you. It was part of the process. You have to have the shell to create the nut. You have to have the peel to create the fruit. You can't create something juicy and delicious and nourishing and wise and wonderful in form without a shell to hold it. But you don't need to hold the shell of your fear and who you thought you were and what you're supposed to do and what people think of you. This is the time when the shell gets thrown away and you get to receive and enjoy the nut, the juicy fruit, the inner beauty of who you are. Bring the sun in from this wisdom. Spiral it down within you. Let it go in and open your solar plexus. As you do, the answers will come. If you have access to colloidal gold, ingest it. If you don't, call to gold. Call to the element gold. Understand deeper what alchemy really is. It is the transmutation of energies that have taken form, like gold or lead. But it isn't about turning lead, which doesn't have a monetary value, into gold, which has a perceived monetary value. That is still a 3D perspective. You are channeling gold of the soul, golden spiritual sunlight. You receive the things that nourish you in your heart. You receive the things that allow you to focus and become a clearer channel and a clearer channel and a clearer channel. And this means that you are very connected to the sun dragons and these bright energies, these abilities to withstand high heat, so to speak. What happens with heat? Everything speeds up faster, 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 and faster. So it requires you to step into being the wisdom, the priestess, the goddess, the person that is holding and opening this vortex, this channel, bringing it right into your center, your solar power, and then allowing whatever is not needed anymore, known and unknown, to go. Yes, thank you. Wow, that is something beautiful. I get to see these most beautiful, beautiful things. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mwah. So, everyone, please share with me what you experienced because I'm sure this was for everybody. It was incredibly vivid for me. And what happens is that you're going to get something. And then, of course, Autumn, please share. So vivid. So, I'm just taking a second to disconnect from that. And I saw a Monica. Is there a Monica? Monica here. There, Monica Marino. Ooh, Monica Marina. Wow, that has a very powerful name you have there. Hmm. Namaste to the cacao. Monica. Got it. Namaste. Monica. All right. So remember, everyone here, that you are in a sacred temple. So respect it, be as present as possible, and understand that this wisdom being gifted to us, Mott coming through, wow, I'll unpack that probably in another show, is extremely significant. This is akin to a mystery school initiation. So, Monica, your soul lineage is called for this Herkimer diamond. It's a crystal. It's called a Herkimer diamond because of its level of clarity. It has very special properties, as well as this is an amethyst, which is purple ray, right? And works with our royal blood, works with our crown chakra and with our soul star, but also being a pyramid with the four directions. This is a very powerful tool. It may activate something for you just seeing it. It may remind you of something. Okay. And so I'm going to hold it here over the crown chakra right in the center. And I'm holding with my left hand. So these may be something that you want to repeat. Yes. So your soul lineage is starting to speak to us, Monica, through these crystals. And it's interesting. I'm taking this very nice Herkimer crystal quartz, and it's wanting to be rolled around in my hand like a dice, actually. And I'm keeping my hand closed because it's a very nice crystal. I don't want it to fall out. But it's my right hand, which is your manifesting hand, your masculine energy hand in general. And your left hand, your receiving hand, your feminine hand, your intuitive hand is holding this pyramid of amethyst directly here. Yes, thank you. Okay. So there's some very large beings entering the space. This is in another star. This is in, it looks kind of Egyptian. I see some pyramid like temples. I see people coming in and out of this building that's similar to an Egyptian temple with very, very tall, or a Greek or something, with these very, very tall pillars, very tall, twice as tall as what we see here. And they're decorated quite a bit at the top. There's paint, a lot of painting, there's a lot of color, but it's definitely not this planet. There's in the background a couple of different, well, I don't know if it's a moon. I see sort of what I would call a crescent moon, then surrounded by almost like two other phases of the moon. So if it's three planets, but it looks like a very thin crescent moon, a quarter moon, not quite, and then a kind of a quarter moon or a little bit bigger crescent moon. You have dark, dark hair, It's straight, it's cut straight across the brow, very straight and angular down here. And you have a woven gold headband. It has a lot of turquoise and red. It's got some different gold elements coming out of it, nothing that I recognize. They're more like a shape with an interesting end on them that are tools. They're radars. They're moving. They seem to be moving, like sensing things as you walk. They seem to be seem to be living beings. They speak directly into your crown, or they connect you at a very high level in a clear way so that you can walk and talk and do things. And this is a very high level position, like a skill that takes an enormous amount of time, because whatever it is that's on your head is operating with you. And it would be like, the wizard's apprentice picking up the wand and then not knowing how to control it, and burning the house down type of thing. So this is, you are walking very expertly, very tall, kind of slender. You have a long gold straight skirt. The top is gold. It has large, it's more like gold lame, maybe, like sparkly a little bit. Very pointed shoulders, comes to a V right here to that same place in the solar plexus. And you have bands, big metal bands around your arms. They're different kinds of metals. I think these are all tools for you to be doing some kind of work with elements, elementals, especially gold, especially other metals, alloys, and definitely alchemy type of practice. And then you're able to be completely in this other world, inner vision, outer vision state that would normally take somebody to be in a meditation or be in a ceremony, or have some plant medicine or something, but you have mastered it. And then you put this band on, and it's got these things that initially just look like, sort of a fancy, weird headdress. But each of these kind of metal shaped little, they're not that thick. They're maybe an eighth of an inch wide. And then they come up, some of them weave, and they have different little, the ends of them are different. Like one looks almost like a little mouth, and the other one has more of a star or things coming out of it. So these are tools, and the more you walk and talk, the more we are there with you, sort of observing. They move around on your head as if they're perceiving, receiving, and sending energy directly to you. And this gives you the ability to be conscious and be connected to higher realms and many, many different advisors, so to speak. Like if you were talking directly to the amethyst and the amethyst ray, which is different than the amethyst crystal beings. And, you were talking to a life that you had at that time, and then you were talking to your mentor in that life at that time, and then you're, so on and so forth. So you're doing this through practice, and then tools that enhance your abilities and create almost like a Faraday cage around your head, which keeps out phone lines and radio waves and things. So this is such an advanced skill and being that there's a sense of like, see it, feel it, feel the immensity of this temple, of this, how high the ceilings are, how enormous the space is, how you're walking around it, you know it, you sense it. You don't even need to use your eyes, you're so tuned in, you have this luminous field, but you are really connected, all right, through that ability. And so when you come back, bring this connection and start to download, how can this help me now? What would be the tools that I might use or wear. Maybe some jewelry that you might see in 3 days that you say, oh, I'm really drawn to that. Or maybe there's a metal, some kind of a metal pendulum. I'm seeing some kind of metal thing that you're holding. It could be any kind of stone or rock. You might see if you can find a Herkimer quartz. If not, then get a regular one. This is a double terminated one. So this shape is also very important for you, meaning, the point on the top and the bottom. And of course, it can be used in any direction. So it gives and receives, all right, in many different ways, projecting and receiving. So this is significant in you understanding your powers are to have things, tools like this that can help you receive and give, to release and to receive, to balance two sides, to see both sides, to step into the alchemizing one thing so that these two sides can meet in the middle. And however that might come into your life, into your work, into your mind, into your relationships. The other image they gave me as is fading is this goddess, gold carved goddess that it was like holding soap, like up like this with a gown, just very, just the outline, no details, nothing fancy. It looks like that you might like attach it to your wall to hold up a soap dish, and the whole thing is like holding, like this gold goddess is leaning back out like this and holding above her this gold dish. And right now it has like an used ivory piece of soap. It's not dirty soap, it's just been used. And so there's some connection there, that some kind of soap or some kind of clearing or cleansing tool or something is being held up by the goddess, and the goddess in some form that for you. And she's sort of there, always holding up for you what you need, what you need next. So tune into that as well. Thank you. Yes. How delightful. Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, so next is Olga. And I was getting Lenore, Olga. So we'll probably do Lenore next. Also, if you need to go, you can come back and listen. Olga. Let's lighten the heart area. Okay, lighten your heart. Do some breathing. Bring some air. Oh, yeah. Good. So there's a lot of heavy weight on your heart, and there's a sense of a big stone on your chest. I can't tell yet whether it looks like you were crushed or you were buried, or you were sealed away or something. And there's the weight on your heart is the saying blackened heart. So this became a blackened heart, became a darkened heart, became a heart that didn't believe, that didn't trust, that didn't love, that didn't care, that was jaded, we would say, right? And the heart became wow, such a powerful experience to have the blackening of your heart. So I'm receiving several things. There's something about you being burned, but it has to do with your heart. Somebody took your heart, literally took your heart out of you, and then burned everything, like burned you and burned. But it looks like it was in a sacred way. It looks like it was in a ceremonial way. I'm not saying, or at the moment I can't tell. It seems more like it's in some kind of southern U.S. culture type of thing. Remember, cult just means culture. So we take out the bad part of it, and then you decipher whether something is good for you or not. But there was something about this that whatever they believed, maybe it was voodoo-y. Not there's a lot of beliefs and a lot of things in voodoo that are very lovely, and there's a lot of things that are manipulative, right? It's to bind people and to do things against will. And so there was a sense that you were, huh, okay, this is very intense. So just relax. That you were taken in by someone, a small circle of people, and they acted as if they were going to help you, like a healing circle or something. And they ended up using you as a victim or as a sacrifice, we might say. And it wasn't like they grabbed you and tied you down and killed you. They actually used their wisdom to do this to you, to bind you in a way where you willingly allowed them to do this ritual. And it was very powerful what you did, what you offered. You certainly allowed them to access some very, very big powers. I'm not seeing at the moment what they did with it, whether it was like, wow, you opened the greater good of the whole world by sacrificing yourself this way. But the part that you're connected to right now is the part that where you were used, and you did it willingly, all the way up into the death, till you were almost finished feeling and sensing anything, burned to death, that you started to wake up to the spell that you were under. And so your agreement is your agreement. But you can see that a lot of soul agreements were made at this time. And there was something, it's very definitely voodoo, because I keep seeing like a swamp, maybe Louisiana, and I keep seeing these, like, this is in the woods, in the swampy kind of woods, in little houses, lots of herbs, lots of, jars of roots and so on. And so this is very difficult for you to trust people and to trust yourself, mostly of all, because you went in to learn these things, to help, to heal. You went in trusting these people were on your side, and you feel like they didn't really maybe use their powers for the greatest good, even though they could easily argue that, well, you wanted to come in and you wanted to learn these things and you wanted to do this spell, but they were like a higher level understanding and knew that you would be in a vulnerable state through part of your training, which is true for all initiates. And so it stopped you for lifetimes really tuning to nature in an herbal way, or even, like the Celts and the Greeks would sacrifice animals, or read their entrails, or believe that their essence, their life force, was part of the message, that they were a messenger. And a lot of these cultures, it was not considered bad or cruel. So we have to be careful not to judge out of context, all right, from our current perception. You can't do that. However, this has deeply anchored. That's a good word. Anchored your mystical powers, and you are very mystical. You're very mystical, and I see mists, and I see like swamps, and I see like just forests where you could go and you could talk, and the decaying leaves are like emanating power, and you take them, and you dig for the roots, and you're not afraid of the dark side of life or the slimy things. You understand that just like a flower could create a flower essence, that the roots of it could create another remedy, but they're not pretty, or they're not light and gorgeous, and all that. They're maybe dirty, and you have that, but all aspects of that have really been locked away because you don't trust yourself. You fear people misusing their power or teaching you something which you begged for, you asked for. You were definitely one of those students who was like, teach me, please, showing up all the time, doing things, trying to prove yourself. And so kind of like joining something where they say, oh, well, now we're going to do this mean thing to you as an initiation, like sororities or fraternities do. I don't understand that at all. But having a nice ritual to welcome you into, your priestess hood, your healing abilities. It's very important for us to have those rituals. So you're drawn to things like herbs, crystals, rituals, altars, really earthy kind of working with the elements, understanding the power of word, using words and symbols, intention. You understood all this, and you got to a point where you were very good, but you had to go through an initiation phase where you were very vulnerable. So you were called now to pick that up where you left off, to pick up, not that you have to go back and become voodoo or something like that, but that fear that shut you down, that you can't trust others and you can't trust yourself, and that your black heart, that you gave your heart while you were still alive, and then your body was burned while you were still alive, and these were part of the requests. And so whatever power that actually released, that they took, is now yours to take back, and that's kind of big. And if you want to do a session, I'm not trying to force anybody, but if you want to do a session, we could go deeper into what that means, how that looks, where it is. But you're going to start to kind of have a stronger understanding of that. So first, now feel into where you have a lack of trust of self and others and these kinds of things, like my beautiful Ronnie, who was afraid of the Egyptian Sphinx and then ended up loving it and holding it too. Wow. Okay, I'm going to keep going. I don't want to interrupt to read, but I do want you to share, all of you, what you're seeing or feeling or thinking about any of these. Isn't this amazing? It's just the most amazing work because it is soul retrieval work. So as a shaman, I know how to travel worlds. As an energy person, I can see your energy, feel, and scan you. As a goddess healer and a priestess and all these different disciplines, I bring them into what is optimal for you, which is why in between I cleanse, and I'm doing more cleansing than you realize between, so that I have a clear connection. And then what comes through for you is what's optimal right now for you, the most important thing for you to see, know, and hear. So if you're like, oh, I wanted to see myself, in a castle or whatever, let it go, and start with what you're given, because being given a feather today, you can use it all day. That will get you past the heart ceremony, even if you're still carrying heaviness in your heart, fear, anger, pain, revenge against yourself, blame, or others. And so what Mott has done is she's opened the doors to say, go on, go into the higher realms, go into these other places, play with yourself, find what you need. You have a free pass for the day. Wow, amazing. Lenore, Lenore, Lenore. Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, ladies, so much. Thank you so much. Lenore. Okay. just saw someone I'm going to do next. Okay. So oftentimes your lineages will blend. Okay, so you may feel very called to the Celts or the ancient Greeks or Egypt, and you may go there, you may study it, or you may read about it, or you may embody it, or you may learn some rituals or manifestations or meditations of that culture or a particular time in that culture. That's it right there, Lenore. Oh my goodness. Okay. And they are often connected because you have many lineages. And so, like a constellation type of thing, a family constellation, you have lineages, that played off each other, that could help each other, that could support each other. And now is the time for, as they rise to your consciousness and you start to work with them, they're going to guide you how to free yourself and how to help them until you are both at a point where you're pure, clear communication. But that may be tomorrow, that may be 2 years from now. I don't know, right? You're in a process, so you don't get upset about the process. All right, Lenore. Ooh, I'm so excited. Yes, yes, yes. I agree. I agree. All right, so we're going to grab Thoth here. And what came up right in my belly, Lenore, is Atlantis. So many of you may know Thoth, or Thoth, or Thoth, or also known as Hermes, Trismegistus. He wrote the Emerald Tablets, the laws of the universal laws, and was the teacher, the writer, the scribe of medicine, magic, science, and one of my primary teachers. This is actually from Egypt, but the part of him that wants to come to you today is the Atlantean priest king who wrote the Emerald Tablets. And this is taking my breath away because this is extremely special to my core of my being. So I always have to check in and make sure, which I teach you in the Intuition Awakening. I've been working with these energies, my psychic abilities, I guess you would call them, for a very long time now. And it is working with each other, working with others, like you get to do in the intuition class, have that feedback in the practice that 100% takes you into your confidence about what you're doing instead of staying in doubt. So I've studied the Emerald Tablets. I've slept with the Emerald Tablets. I rewrote the Emerald Tablets, and they're a key for alchemy. They're a key to pass on wisdom and knowledge from Atlantis, which then seeded nearly every other culture on the planet. So let's see where you and Thoth want to go. So we're going immediately down from above into Atlantis, which was built in concentric circles, islands in the center and built around it. Many of them had very tall mountains, and there were sacred temples at the top of those. In the center right now, they're showing a big, wide Egyptian style, smooth-sided pyramid made of something that's almost glass-like, but dark, like a smoky quartz. And as we come closer, you can see inside of it. It has, wow, it's very much like this, like an organite, but it's dark. It has a coil at the top. It has some gold. It has filled with many, many things. And for lack of a better word, it is a lab. And we keep hovering over it. We keep going down into it. Thoth is standing there. He's standing to the side of the pyramid, and next to him is an opening in the floor, and he just moves his hand to show you where to go, and we're going to go right down that passageway. He's following, and he's closing it behind. This is not an entrance to this pyramid, to this lab, to this energy producing structure that is known to very many. It's only known to the very high priests and priestesses that work in the temples way up in the mountains overlooking Atlantis, and where Thoth was raised and trained. And you're noticing that as you go down, 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 down underneath this pyramid, that there is a duplicate pyramid just like it pointing down. And you're walking down next to it, almost again looking in, like looking through this clear, hard surface, very dark, but inside you can tell that there's all kinds of different crystals, different copper structures, coils, um, and symbols. And you keep going down, and now you've reached the tip of the bottom pyramid. So interesting. You've reached, these aren't the same, but so if this is the one above the ground and this is the one below the ground, you entered like here and are going down a shaft next to it this way, and you've now reached this tip. All right, so as above, so below, as without, so within. You were a part of this lab. You were part of the secret lab. You were part of the secrets that were held very highly by the priests and priestesses. But there was another order of those. They had gold wings. They looked a bit like a Greek sphinx, and bird-like, woman-like, and big wings. And these were golden messengers, golden, they want to say warriors, but I'm rejecting that. So let me see if I need to keep that. Warriors in the sense that they were protectors, they were guardians. They're standing around the temples and the high mountaintops of Atlantis. This is a time when the tides are changing. There, Atlantis is still in the golden age. There's still 94%, 92% connection through heart, everyone working. The pyramids are all generating power for everyone to use, not just for mundane things like electricity, home, warmth, and so on, but for their consciousness. Everyone is at a high state of consciousness due to the grids that are going out from these pyramids. And as this one is pointing into the earth, there is, you know about the tube torus, where it comes down through the center of the two pyramids and out and up around again, or the other direction. And it's the bidirectional flow of this tube torus through these two above and below pyramids that was your specialty. So your specialty is to understand that there's mirror worlds, that there is an above and below, that there's different powers to each, but each is not, one is not good, one is not bad, that much has been hidden and must be hidden, and you were privy to many, many hidden things. Thoth is handing you something, and he's putting it right here over your solar plexus again. It looks like a tool or an instrument of some kind. It's spiral a little bit, like comes, not really spiral, comes down and around like a hand that turns, and it's made of metal. And he's almost just laying it there on your belly. You will know what to do with this, but it is something you never went anywhere without. So it is some kind of Atlantean technology. It does, you do pick it up in your hand, and it does extend from the fingers. It looks like it's a long extension of each of the fingers, but they're very, it's like a thin, not even, not perfect, not the same. They're all kind of different, the way they come out and go to their point. But there's something about this. It's in your right hand that is now opening and activating some energies, some wisdom, something. You're directly below these two pyramids, and the apex is generating an enormous amount of energy. So you hold your hand up with this tool, this technology, and you start to gather it. And you simply hold it, and here you are gathering power, gathering energy like a battery to store. As you take it in, Thoth is asking you to please pay attention to how you feel, to where it is coming in, to what it is reminding you of. Where are you feeling it in your body? What kind of thoughts are coming up? And you're just receiving. You're just receiving, like this is a basket or something. You're just going somewhere and filling your basket. As you receive this energy, now you would store it, you would take it, you would monitor it, study it, and then store it. And these, again, were very secret places that even a lot of those who worked in these temples, in this lab, didn't know about. This was a way to prevent people from becoming greedy and misusing power. So your job was to gather power. Remember, this is a little bit like mana, which you would put in an ark or some form that would then generate electricity for the whole planet, and you use it to alchemize gold so you could drink it and eat it and heal and live to be 150 and 250, and this was normal back then. So you're harnessing it, and it's almost like you have a little farm down there that you're like putting it into. And here's the thing. In order for you to reconnect to that life, you have to realize that you need some of that for you. All right. And your duty, your job, wanting to be very, very, very honorable. There was a sense that you had that it wasn't right for you to have, take, or consume any of it, that you were a guardian of it and that you must do that. And yet you became extremely depleted. And you were concerned about the way things were moving and who might take over, even though it really was quite a while, hundreds of years before the actual flood. So there's a part of you that needs to now stay there, and the other part go back up and follow Thoth up and move to the very top of this pyramid, above it, where the energy is coming in and out. And it doesn't just shoot out like a beam, it draws energy in like a vortex, okay? Like it draws in many, 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 many streams. So this is something that you never understood, that these two jobs were kept separate for secrecy reasons. So today you're being offered the opportunity to go to the other perspective, to the higher point, the other point, the above versus the below, the out versus in, the yang versus yin energy of your wisdom from that time. And you came from one of the temples where Thoth taught he did, where he taught initiates, because your job required you to be like an engineer mind, but a spiritual communicator, to communicate with all these crystals, with all this energy, with the earth energies, the waters, everything, because it was like a nuclear reactor. And the benefits were so extremely high for everyone. Nutrients to live, power for whatever they needed power for, and the ability to raise consciousness, to stay at a higher state of consciousness, even if the rest of the world was coming down. So you are complete now with this, and you can dream into, you can talk to, you can go back to any of these lives, everybody, to see if there's more information there that wants to be shared. And what happens is that you start with this small connection, or a door opens, or the feeling happens, or you release something, or you remember something, or you feel profound, and then you start to integrate it, and then something else happens. So look at all the different energies and symbols of what this means. Atlantis is really the motherland, the original, most of the wisdom passed down. But we also have Lemuria, yes, which is more of the feminine vibe. But Atlantis had both, and it had power and wisdom and heart until those were separated. So you have wisdom and knowledge in other areas of your life, of the inner workings of things, of the things that are kept out of the public eye that most people don't know. And you're very good at trusting and being entrusted with that information, but it's time for you to take it out and digest it yourself, to consume it yourself, to start to realize what you know, and that this is for you as well, not just for you to be like the shepherd, but you never, get wool from the sheep. You are one of this. And your resistance to receiving that you probably have in this life is making things very difficult for you, because there's a lot of people who honor you, respect you, support you, want to help you, believe what you do, believe in what you do, and you don't have quite the strength yet to fully embrace that, embody that, receive that. Then take this idea that you have now been given permission to go up to the complete opposite perspective of what you were trained in, to see the light versus the dark, or the yin and the yang, or the above and the below, to get a completely different perspective. And it's like going on an exchange, a student exchange. You're going to go to Holland, and you're going to see and live there with the people, and live in a family, and understand what it's like to live there, and start to understand their culture. So this is very exciting. And then you extrapolate that into your own life. Definitely, it means awakening spiritually, and awakening to some very amazing powers, and an affinity to crystals, elementals, and creating energy. Energy created is possible to use it for anything, health, wealth, or anything else. So, very nice. Yes, I feel called to do one more. Oh, thank you so much. So we have Sarah Kanoa, or Sarah Kanoa, and you popped into me. I opened my eyes, I saw the butterflies, and it's like, oh, there we go. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Thank you so much, my beloved. He didn't get his kisses today, so he needs his kisses. Everybody needs kisses. Yes, indeed, my loves. All right, so Isis wants to come, having a lot. So Isis is a great goddess, a mother goddess. She's the icon of resurrection, renewal. She's the icon of the Trinity, the feminine aspect of the Trinity. And she is also uh, the lover, right, of you, and bringing your soul back together. So let's see what she wants to say to Sarah. This is actually from Egypt, and then went through Greece with me last year in the fall. Okay, my loves. All right, also coming forward is this smoky quartz. It's very dark smoky quartz. Sometimes they look like this. Sometimes they look like that. They got different personalities. And on this, for me, lives this beautiful dragon every day. Thank you, Jean-Pierre. So these are the energies that are coming forward for you, Sarah. Thank you. Yes, I agree. All right. So some very powerful energies coming through, cleansing and clearing all of us and clearing the space, disconnecting from everything that's come through. Know that as is unbroken, that you can tap into. Of course, listen, but you can tap back into any energy that you felt or you're feeling, and you can keep it with you. And I've been asked to clear the space because this message for Sarah is going to be very powerful for many people. And Sarah has three lineages that are dancing together. And it reminds me sometimes as a triple goddess, if you're familiar with that concept, where a single goddess embodies three different aspects. Might be maiden, mother, sage, or crone. It may be, fire, water, air goddess, might be just different aspects in different ways. But it reminds me of that. However, these are different lives. One is definitely Egyptian and Polynesian, maybe. It's some kind of island that's could be the Philippines, might be Bali, but it's definitely sort of after Hawaii, right? And then over to that beautiful Asian, but very tropical Asian energies. And I see a short woman, very, very dark hair, wide face, very big cheeks and smiley, and very small, very short. And her eyes are very squinted all the time. And she's looking up into the sun. She's got a fan, sort of like a hand woven fan out of maybe palm leaves or some plant leaves, and she's super vibrant, super strong. She's like a little bullet, tons packed into this small package. And she's standing there like waiting for you, blinking into the sun, sweating a little bit, waiting, blinking into the sun, sweating. Um, there's an ankh, the energy of an ankh that is bigger than your body. It's going up through you. It's going way above your head. It's coming back in at your neck. It's coming down, going down your arms, and it's going down to your feet. Then it's growing each time, and that's just what's coming through. So the three lives, the three lineages are standing with their backs to each other, looking out. So this first one, she's looking at me. The next, this ankh. It doesn't look like a person. It looks like an ankh energy that's, like a whole body, very 3D in the sense of entering and holding a space or a structure within your body, facing sort of to the back left, and then the one facing the other way, so like a triangle of three. Um, and that ankh energy is flowing very strongly. So remember that it's everlasting life. It's life that loops back, that feeds itself, that remembers that this exact thing is what feeds life, and that you bring it into you, and you don't worry about it being, they're almost saying like you'll understand exactly how to work with it and how to download it and what to do with it. That it's better not to get your head full of too much ideas of what you should do or what it means, and just take the shape and the flow and the energy and apply it. Ask it to be embodied. Ask it to, open your third eye, or your wrists or your heart, or go into your belly and work with the energies of that in this way. And then the third one now is blank, like they went to the bathroom, like they went to take a break. I see enormous wings, and I'm not sure if that's you. And there's is a wing. Well, it is very angelic, and it's behind. There's not really any definition to the space, but way back behind, it's like standing in front of these huge windows. kind of with a classic, chair and something next to, it's her, him, her, him, her, but far away. So we call on the powers of the soul lineage that is most optimal for Sarah at this time. Oh, so I'm seeing a symbol on the back of your hand. It's a circle with a line and a cross coming out of it. It's very similar to something in astrology. And now you have the ability to connect to these three, and they're asking you to step into the vacant space. So you step in, you're facing out, your back, your heart, your center. You can really feel the heat on the back is connecting to this Ankh energy that is flowing in a life force. Now, there's a lot of cultures that use that concept, but this is definitely some kind of ancient Egyptian lineage, because they understood feeding the Ankh and pouring the Ankh over you and activating the Ankh within you. And so this is something that you want to do, you want to draw on. And you can feel that. And then behind you, this tray is this beautiful Polynesian, Asian and Polynesian kind of woman. So she is a teacher. She's she's very direct. She's like, let's do this, So she's happy, she's powerful, she's strong, but she was one of your teachers. And so you have a lineage on some islands there, that really, and could be like the Philippines, like some of these places are just full of islands. And there's this magic, this mystery. This is not Christianity. This is way before that came. It's not even Buddhism. It's more like very earthy and very dragon oriented, very mythical creature oriented, worked with dragons. And I'm seeing like these humans with dragon tails or serpent tails now, and lots of them flying around you. And the culture that was, you talked to the earth, you knew everything was alive. Because of it being very islandish, there's a, not like islands where I live. This is very Eastern. There's, the elements of the water and the storm, and then they embody into some kind of a dragon-like being, and then the elements of the waters, the seawater, and then the fresh waters, and different things. And so extremely earthy and practical and right there, but almost like plugs herself in to these different things. And she's here to be a bit of a strong teacher, again, a bit of a mentor that really watches you, looks at you. And the fact that she wants you to enter the circle, that you're the missing key, is very profound. So now there's the Ankh energy running, internal life force, and the three of you are connected like this, with your back. So the back of your head, the back of your neck, the back of your heart, the back of your belly, the back of your sacral, everything. Realize everything is, spherical anyway, but you may be feeling heat. Now you're having a direct connection to this, and it is joining together in a trinity and into a sacred shape, okay, into a tetrahedron. And these have different powers that flow, but she wants you to connect to her. And there's really not other information right now. She's just like, she keeps like planting herself like a little bullet, strong, grounded. I'm here. Don't forget me. Listen to me. Remember me. This, I'm bringing you the life force. I'm giving you the position. I'm going to take, a lot of masters, I do this too, bilocate through time and space to be and to help their mentors and their students. and their other parts of their families. So this is very strong goddess culture here, strong dragon culture here, and a lot of the god and goddess cultures or archetypes that are what we would call more the mythical, the combination of animal and human in many forms, and this was normal. So this is a realm that you will be becoming more familiar with. And what powers does that give you? What does she want you to reground into? What will you need to do before you fully embody this everlasting energy? Because these are powerful energies. Everything we've been seeing is, wow, you could, blow up the world with this energy type of thing. So there's going to be something where you have to feel that strength, be part of that triad, receive it, let go of any blocks, guilts, or things to receiving it, and to having her strength, but also her guidance. And she may be like, okay, time for you to go here. I know it's not comfortable, but I don't care. Okay, right. So definitely going somewhere that is very connected to dragons would be um, a beautiful experience. And there's an aspect of this work that you did that is otherworldly. Reminds me of Avalon. It's between the worlds, or through the veil of what we would call the veil now, because we have not allowed ourselves for so long to feel safe with these mysteries, with this magic, with this wisdom, and to allow it to fully bloom. As we do, the realms of the magic and the dragons and the unicorns and the fae and everything that is real will become more accessible to us. And that's one of the things that you're going to do. So as you have known how, you may invite them into your dreams, into your food, into your drink. I see you holding your drink, and then channeling this life force energy and her wisdom and who you were into your drink, almost like a potion, and drinking it with that respect, that intention, that knowing that you've created this elixir of power and life force when you create it. There's another being here that's very connected to you. It reminds me of one of my oracle cards. It's called the Kundalini Dragon Empress. It's very elegant, kind of Oriental woman with a long snake dragon kind of tail, but this beautiful, elegant, long fingernails, and the hair all up with beautiful pins and jewels in it. A presence so luminous that her skin is see-through, and that there's some sort of marking, some sort of symbols on the third eye here. And I don't know who she is, but she's hovering around you as well. There's a lot to unpack here, a lot to unfold. A lot of these have opened a door to, hey, this is what's going on. Now it's time for you to step in and connect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We give great thanks to all of these beautiful beings, to all that we have been shown, all that has been healed, reconnected, and revealed to us. And we honor and respect this feather, this access we've been given by Mott to have a light heart. And I honor what I'm going to do with that today. May this circle be open, yet unbroken. And this beauty and wisdom and connection go with each of us in the optimal way as we take our steps, our breaths, and our choices through our day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Wow. So I'm just seeing different images of the different lives and different things that I saw from you guys. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. I mean, really amazing who you are. And imagine how boring would it be to worry about all this nonsense going around, drama, gossip, and who did what to who, and who cares when this is there for you, when you could be, bringing in your dragons and, doing these different things and weaving the spiral of gold and doing alchemy on your solar plexus so that you could generate the energy to raise consciousness for people around you. And just like imagine all of these things, if we're all activating them, if we're all conscious, if we're committed to being them, awakening them, then what will happen? We're going to accelerate this transformation out of all that blah, 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 low states kind of stuff. So free yourself from being a victim, free yourself from things that trigger you. Just say, okay, yeah, it triggers me, whatever. Now, who wants to come and show me how to alchemize that? Wow, so beautiful. Well, truly, just seeing this and having this experience, I want to thank you. It's such an honor to have a community, to work with beautiful beings like you. I love meeting interesting people, getting on the path. Let me know if there's anybody interesting that I should meet, anyone that's got a show or something that would be fun to co-create with. And definitely shows me that the Intuition Awakening Summer Camp is, again, one of those vital quantum leaps for people. So if you can't come live to the classes, don't worry. A lot of them are on Saturdays, though, and that's the way Spirit wanted it. I kept moving it around, and Spirit kept telling me what to do. So we start on August 3rd, and many of the classes are going to be, they're going to be 2 or 3 hours, because we do activations that are soul retrievals, that are contract relievals. We connect to the dragons or Merlin or goddess or whoever is the primary energy guide at that time. They bring a particular medicine to us, and then we pair up and we do readings or whatever, the different ways it comes through with each other. And it's such an incredible experience. And those of you who've been in it, if you have a second to share in the chat how profound it was for you, because Kim's here. I'm going to tell on Kim. When Kim showed up, she said, I don't know anything about this. I've never done this. I have no idea how to do this. And I said, fantastic. I am so happy, because she didn't have a lot to block her either. Now, she could have said, oh, I don't know, and therefore kept telling herself, I don't know. And then her result is, I don't know. But she just showed up and did exactly, she did the activation. She did exactly everything that we were doing. And then I said, oh, you do a reading for so-and-so. And whoa, poetry just came out of this woman. The visions were flowing. The descriptions were amazing. Everybody was, their mouth was dropped. And she's in my mastermind now. And there's another lady that she met through the intuition class, also in the mastermind, and who said the other day, well, that's why she's Magic Kim in my phone, in my contacts. So it doesn't matter if you're brand new to this or you've been doing this 10,000 years. The point is the container calls you and opens up what is next for you to remember, to reconnect with, to go to the new level at, to go back to certain schools, to remember certain lineages. This is all what's happening for us. So I hope that you'll join me. And I want to take a second and see if anybody shared your experience of it. Also remember that the retreat in Avalon is the same thing. We're going to be doing a lot of magic. We're going to be working with the elements, the dragon lines, the Mother and Mary lines, the goddesses. We're going to be going between the worlds, doing sound healings, doing dowsing, making wands. There's just so many ways that we are capturing this magic and this wisdom to open these things within us. And it's a profound healing and quantum leap experience as well. So don't forget that either. And let me see who said what. Okay, the bottom. I'll start with the bottom, Sarah. Oh my goodness, so beautiful, powerful, super appreciate. You are so welcome. Definitely in tune with dragons and elementals. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're so welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much. Shelly, thank you. You're so welcome, honey. And Symphony, hi, beautiful. Lenore, thank you. Akasha, so fascinating, empowering, overlaps and adds to other experiences from Atlantis and other lineages I relate to. Wonderful. Ooh, good. I'm so glad you sent me a diamond and rainbows and hearts. And for all of us, thank you. Wonderful. Good. Yeah. We had a nice, interesting variety, really, about here today. Hi, Deep Shika. Oh, my goodness. It's so good to see you. Thank you, Olga. Thank you, honey. World we desire. Very nice. I love this. My feather was white and thin and kept hearing freedom. Amazing. Good, Olga. Okay, here we go, Olga. I did a reading for you. I know I did. Wow, Nan, thank you so much. This reading can explain quite a lot. Good. That's what this does. You know, it's fun, but it's really about finding the secrets and the answers and the guidance that we are carrying, especially me being afraid of my powers. And so I give it away and I play small. I'm in awe, over giver. I'm an overgiver, feeling drained often. Yeah, exactly. Wow. And so we know that those patterns and habits we have, they came with us. We brought them with us at a soul level for a very specific reason. Okay. Very specific reason. And that reason can be something very simple and very obvious, but then it has layers and it's going to go to every area of your life where you aren't speaking up, where you aren't owning your power, where you're taking a back seat, where you could have, you know, not just for you, oh, I could have had more money, or I could have had a bigger house, or I could have had this other thing. It's more like, could you have done with that to be a bigger person, to radiate more truth, to allow more of who you are to come out, because that's what we want in the world. We want more of all of you and all of us to be sharing that. Lenore, thank you. Fascinating. Oh, yeah, we said that one. All right, good. Let's see if there was anyone else who shared their feather. Golden sun alchemical processes. Yes, Sarah. Wow. That was really beautiful. Jennifer, yes, yes, yes. Okay. Oh, someone said that before. Isn't that interesting? All right. Well, thank you for hanging in to this very long live stream. And I'm going to be doing more, probably because my assistant Donna leaves today. She doesn't work on Fridays, Saturdays, or Sundays. So if I jump on, there may or may not be an email before. So make sure that you are subscribed here and you have notifications. And if I can send an email, of course, if you're signed up at nanakasha.com, that you will feel that. So, oh, yes, I know, Sarah, you have been processing a lot. Kelly, hi. Probably too late. Seeking new direction. Yes, sweetheart, just for today. I couldn't get to everybody, but downloading gold. Good. So Autumn said some of the things you said actually lined up with a reading I had before during a BQH session. That's so interesting. Isn't that amazing? I know, it's so interesting. Powerful spirit messenger said I was drawn to a bright pink feather. You had one too on my table this morning. I was painting to a pink heart-shaped rock. Oh my gosh. I painted the pink rock, also had a green heart within it. Oh, how beautiful. I love that. We did that at one of my retreats. We painted rocks with beautiful messages and things, and then we went to the meditation gardens, and then we secretly left them around, and it was for people to find and to take home. Really fun. Ooh, horses. Let's see. Anybody else share how your reading went? I don't see any more. I'm so looking forward to the divination class too, Erica. A tiny feather fell near my side today. Wow. How beautiful. Well, go out. Let's see. I know I did Olga, Lenore, Monica, Autumn, and Sarah. And then remember that we all received that beautiful feather. And if you didn't come on till later, Maat, M-A-A-T, is an Egyptian goddess. She would hold the scales for the heart ceremony where they would weigh your heart against a feather. And if you carried any fear, pain, anger, blame towards yourself or anyone else, you couldn't move forward to the next state of consciousness. That's where we are right now. So she came to support us. There's a message and a process with her earlier today, and she gave us all a feather. And she said, this is a feather for you that is good for an entire day, for you to have a free pass, to have a light heart to go. So go out in the world with your free, open, light heart, see how it feels to be that way, embody it, write about it, record it, meditate with it, do things that you normally wouldn't do, make choices, think them differently with your open, new, free pass, your heart. And thank you again. Namaste. Please reach out if there's anything that I can do to serve you. I am so happy that you're here. Bye.